And my child, when he had to go to my stomach, I guess Maurice had heard it. And he pulled the shower curtain back like he was going to get out of it. And that's when I just heard the gunshots going on.
This is the tragic story of a young man named Maurice Vaughn Jackson, age 26, also known as Little Nuke, a rapper who was shot inside his friend's girlfriend's apartment while he was having a good time with her. Quincy Wade, who was an on and off boyfriend of Channa Powell, was shocked when he found Maurice, his friend, with his girlfriend in an apartment he and Channa shared. This led to guns drawn, leading them to firing at each other and eventually leading to Maurice getting shot. Channa would later testify in support of Maurice in court, shocking her real boyfriend Quincy, thinking she would be loyal to him. Hello and welcome to Twisted Crimes. Subscribe and hit the like button for more stories. This case will be taking us to Columbus, Georgia. Columbus is the second most populous city in Georgia after Atlanta, and fields the state's fourth largest metropolitan area. Columbus' rate of violent crime is well above the national average. Columbus is approaching 200 people shot this year. Maurice Vaughn Jackson, age 26, was a rapper out of Columbus, Georgia.
Hey, whoa. Hey, let know. Hey, whoa. Hey, I got me. I keep mines on me like my ID. The way I keep my shit, they think I'm Miss Me Aggie. I got bitches wanna fuck me off my IG. I can't get played like no sucker, not me. I'm clutching on that pole, one on you to try me. Shoot up everywhere that I heard it spot B. Hey, let know. Hey. Whoa, I was just a little boy, jumped up out the porch at 9, ayy. I don't know about you, boy, I saw my first brick at 5, ayy. You was just a schoolboy, I had money on my mind, ayy. Mama, she had left me for some time from slanging 9, ayy. Daddy down the road for traffic, and he doing 5, ayy.
He was also known by his stage name Lil Nuke. He is known for his unique rap style. He is also known to move with certain group of friends.
Hey, I was down bad, now I'm up on their ass and my foot on the gas and I ain't gon' let up. In the 392, smoking 392. Hey, they gave me a boost, now I'm on the way up. I'm pouring the lean, the shit got my drink looking green like Bay in the cook. Hey, these niggas so green, I just rewrote the lean.
He was someone who had gone through some things in life growing up.
Well, yeah, y'all about like 13. I about like 13, but I got shot.
No.
Yeah, I got shot in my sleep.
7th grade?
7th grade, yeah.
No.
Yeah, for sure.
So then, alright, that's interesting then. So, which one came first then, as far as like, it was the song, or, you know, you getting shot and inspiring the song for you to make the song?
Fuck with me hard, but
yeah.
It was just my folks in the streets and shit, so it was already like,
yeah.
Oh, that nuke.
Yeah, yeah.
It was already there.
So then, from that song itself, you already knew right then, alright, I'm gonna take this music serious, we about to go up with it.
Yeah. Nah, I ain't gonna even lie to you, bro. It wasn't even that. I just love music, period. Come from, like, where I come from, like, everybody else, you know, probably been through the same situation, 10 niggas on one couch.
Yeah.
Sitting on one couch. I was signed to basically load the record at first.
Word.
Yeah. Around like 17, 18, you know, had a little situation going on, so.
Real.
On the other hand, one of his friends is named Quincy Wade. Quincy was dating a young lady named Channa Powell. Quincy and Channa were on and off boyfriends. They had a 7-year-old child together, but they were mostly going through a rough patch as a couple. Most of their friends knew about this, but for some reason Maurice might have not gotten the picture, so he eventually started dating Channa at a point where Quincy and Channa were having issues. During the most recent phase of their breakup, Quincy had been said to have sent threatening text messages where he claimed to know where she was and who she was with. He also followed her and would show up to her work and other places she hung out. On the day of this crime, Quincy again sent multiple texts to her before he went to the Patriot Place apartment where Channa lived. Quincy's name was still on the lease too. He somehow knew Channa and Maurice were in the house, so he tried to get in but could not, so he went round the apartment and got in through the sliding glass. There were some other people in the apartment, but when Channa and Maurice realized what was happening, they ran to hide in the bathroom, but Quincy found them and kicked the door open. Channa was able to escape while the two men opened fire on each other. Quincy was struck in both legs while Maurice was shot straight in the heart, lower arm, hip and back areas. Quincy then fled the apartment and called a friend to pick him up. The two drove to a Lagrange hospital where the friend indicated that Quincy had been involved in a Columbus shooting, leading hospital staff to call authorities for assistance. Police arrived and saw all what had happened at the scene. When they interviewed Chana, she did not tell them that she had spoken to Quincy earlier during the day and had forgotten she invited Quincy to come over. She also did not tell them that she was 11 weeks pregnant for Quincy. She also never mentioned that Quincy had a gun to her head before the gunfire. She said he forced himself into the apartment. Quincy was held in jail as the case went to trial because he pleaded not guilty in the case. He claimed he was defending himself. He finally ended up in court and the trial started.
A suspect in the murder of a 26-year-old Maurice Vaughn Jackson made his first court appearance. 26-year-old Quincy Wade is charged with murder in connection with a deadly shooting that claimed the life of Vaughn Jackson back on September 7th. A Columbus police detective testified Wade sent threatening text messages to his ex-girlfriend Shayla Powell during the night of the shooting. According to testimony, Wade forced himself into a home on Buena Vista Road where Vaughn Jackson and Powell were hiding. But defense attorney William Kendrick says his client was let into the home.
There's no forced entry. When it comes down to the glass sliding door, I asked that specifically. Was it kicked open, was it broken, or anything along those lines?
Wade entered a not guilty plea, telling the judge he shot Vaughn Jackson in self-defense. According to Wade, Vaughn Jackson shot at him first. Wade was shot in both of his legs and is now in a wheelchair. Vaughn Jackson suffered multiple gunshot wounds, one to his chest and one entering his back and exiting through his hip.
Maurice's father was not happy with the defense's strategy. He wanted justice for his son at all cost. The defense was trying to point out that Quincy was the victim in this case.
For the murder trial of Quincy Wade continuing in Columbus today, he's accused of killing a local rapper back in September of 2021. The defense claims that it was self-defense, but prosecutors say it was a love triangle that ended in death. News 9's Amaya Graham was in the courtroom earlier today. She joins us now live from the Government Center. Amaya, so bring us the details from today's proceedings. Tell us more about what happened.
Well, Barbara, jurors on this case heard from a slew of Columbus police officers who worked the scene back in September of 2021. I also spoke to the victim's father on how he feels so far about this case.
At the end of the day, if he would have waited another day to handle that with her, my son would still be here today.
Quincy Wade was arrested in LaGrange and charged with the murder of local rapper Maurice Vaughn Jackson, who is also known as Lil Nuke. The killing took place at Patriot Place Apartments off of Buena Vista Road back in September of 2021. Court began for the third day with the medical examiner taking the witness stand. The state asked medical examiner Colin Haber about the gunshot wounds the victim received and which one was the most lethal.
So of the 4 gunshot wounds, this one of the chest does go through the heart, the left lung. The other ones are through the wrist, left wrist, right forearm, and the buttocks. Would that be considered immediately fatal?
During cross-examination, defense attorney William Kendrick asked the medical examiner about Quincy Wade's gunshot wounds he sustained after Vaughn Jackson emerged from the shower and the two exchanged gunfire.
And this wound is consistent with the gunshot wound?
Yes.
All right. And this wound is consistent with the gunshot wound?
Yes.
I spoke with Maurice Jackson, the victim's father. He says after seeing the evidence of what happened the night of the murder, one thing remains the same for him.
The case is not about who shot first. It's a case about one thing when my son lost his life, protected himself and who he was with that night. When trouble came knocking on their door, they place to stay where they was, minding their business. That's all the case is about.
Quincy Wade is facing multiple charges of malice and felony murder, in addition to aggravated assault and home invasion. The victim's father says he is hopeful his son will get justice.
At the end of the day, justice is gonna be served for Maurice. And justice is gonna be served for all the times he did her the way he did her. She just too scared to come forward. At the end of the day, but it's all out now. But at the end of the day, Maurice gonna get justice.
During the trial, the lady in question, Chana Powell, who a lot of people blamed for all this, was put to the stand and cross-examined by the defense.
Testimony began this morning in the trial of a man accused of murdering his ex-girlfriend's new boyfriend in September of 2021. Jurors are not tasked with deciding whether the defendant shot the victim. Rather, was it done in self-defense? WRBL's Hannah James was in court and files this report.
On September 7th of 2021 at approximately 2:30 a.m., Quincy Wade shot and killed Maurice Vaughn Jackson. That will not be in dispute in this case.
Testimony shows Wade entered the residence his ex-girlfriend, Shayna Powell, was staying in uninvited. Wade then kicked in the bathroom door both Powell and Jackson were hiding in.
The evidence is going to show that as they're having this conversation in the bathroom, Mr. Wade is facing towards where Mrs. Powell is, which is kind of in an area behind the bathroom door, across from the bathroom mirror. And they're having this conversation. All right? And at that point, Mr. Wade is shot twice. Shot twice by Mr. Jackson, who comes out of the shower curtain. Unbeknownst to Mr. Wade, doesn't even know he's there. And shoots him twice. All right? And in response to that, Mr. Wade fires rounds to defend himself.
In a way, this case is about self-defense, but it's about Maurice Vaughn Jackson defending himself and Shayna.
Testimony painted a picture of years' worth of domestic disputes and violence between Wade and Powell. At the time of the shooting, Powell was pregnant with Wade's child. However, she was seeing Jackson. Here's what Powell testified happened moments before shots rang out.
Did Mr. Wade say anything at that point? What did he say? At that point, Maurice Jackson started out of the tub. He had a gun, and you will hear that he could legally own a gun. He had a gun, and he took it out. 16 shots were fired in that bathroom. We do not know who shot first.
The defense argued Powell never told this to police. Instead, she made up the statement of Wade threatening to shoot her.
When Ms. Powell was first interviewed and talked to about this incident, she didn't say nothing about Mr. Wade. Pulled the gun on her, put it to her stomach, put it to her head, say, "I'm gonna shoot you and the baby." That's all cap, that's all made up.
After the back and forth between the lawyers on both sides, it was now the time for jury to decide the fate of Quincy. They eventually sided with Quincy and found him not guilty of most of the charges.
A Columbus man accused of killing the boyfriend of his ex-girlfriend was acquitted on all felony charges this evening after a 6-hour jury deliberation. Quincy Wade was accused of shooting to death Maurice Jackson, the new boyfriend of his on-again, off-again girlfriend, Shayna Powell. The jury found Wade not guilty of felony murder, malice murder, aggravated assault, and home invasion. The home invasion charge was reduced to a lesser charge of criminal trespassing. In September of 2021, Jackson was with Powell at her friend's apartment on Buena Vista Road when Wade entered an unlocked door after 2 in the morning. The state accused Wade of pointing a gun at Powell. Jackson and Wade shot at each other. Jackson was hit 4 times and died. The defense claimed the shootout was self-defense. The prosecution said it was a domestic violence situation that turned deadly. Here are the attorney's reactions to the verdict.
We are disappointed in the verdict. When we go to trial, we believe we have the evidence to prove the case beyond a reasonable doubt, and so we are disappointed in the outcome.
Well, not necessarily surprised by the verdict. We knew we had good arguments and we knew we were able to come in and make our case. I never ever call a verdict before, so I never think it's going to go either way. Old attorney taught me that once you're going to trial, you think about the ways that you can win it, not about the ways that you can lose it, but you always know that it's a gamble.
Wade was found guilty of criminal trespassing. This charge is a misdemeanor and has a maximum sentence of 12 months. Wade has been in jail for about 2 years. There's no word on when he will be released.
This case is a very sad case where a woman most likely played two men and one ended up losing his life. A very sad case on both sides. She still has to deal with Quincy for the rest of her life, even though she stood for Maurice while in court. They have a 7-year-old together and she was confirmed to be 11 weeks pregnant during the incident. A lot of people blamed her for playing them while a lot of people blamed Maurice for dating the lady. Whatever way you see this, we hope some situation can always be solved without violence. Our sincere condolences to the friends and family of Maurice Jackson aka Little Nuke. May his soul continue to rest in peace. Please stay safe out there and see you guys in the next video.